Hi kids, welcome to my little hobby corner. Now, if you're watching this, odds are that you have run out of internet and this is your court of last resort, but whatever the reason, I'm glad you're here. Today I want to talk about something that a lot of us hobby guys don't often talk about, and that is that you are never too old to make a rookie mistake. And what am I talking about here? Well, I have been working on this kit for quite a while now. This is the Round 2 AMT Star Trek Enterprise set. 7 complete model kits, no glue needed. So it's got the NX, it's got the original series, it's got the motion picture refit, then the Enterprise B, C, D, and E. It's a nice little kit for an American kit. It snaps together pretty well. I did use some glue because, as with a lot of American kits, there are some gaps, there are some seams that don't quite fit together. I will tell you, the box says ages 10 to adult, but honestly, the decal work is so extensive. I wouldn't give this to anybody under 14. So let me show you what's been going on with this kit. So working on the kit, I thought things were going pretty well. What I did was I assembled all the individual ships. I primed them, gave them their base color, did the decal work, then went back and did all the detail painting by hand. And things were looking great. There's the NX, looking good. The original series, very nice. The motion picture refit, also known as the Enterprise A, is happy with that. And we have the Enterprise B. Again, fun little kits to build. Lots and lots of decal work though. Lots and lots and lots and lots. And the Enterprise C. Also, fun kit, fun to put together, fun to detail. Had a little bit of fun with the deflector there. That was good. And then I got to the Enterprise D, Captain Picard's ship, arguably one of the best known Enterprises outside of the original series. The Enterprise D has this phaser array that goes around a good part of the upper and lower part of the saucer section. And I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to mask that off and use my airbrush to paint the phaser array so it would come out nice and even, wouldn't have to worry about brush strokes. So I masked it up, painted it with my airbrush. It looked nice and even. And then I went to take the masking tape off. And ended up with this. Yep, the hours that I spent working on the decaling all pulled off in just a couple of seconds. Here's where I have to talk a little bit about Round 2, which is the company that bought AMT as well as a bunch of other American model kit brands. I went to their website. When I got to their website, I found a place where you could fill out a form to order lost, missing, broken, etc. parts. I filled out the form looking for another set of decal sheets. To their credit, I received a reply email in 2 hours, which is nearly unheard of. They must have guys sitting there all day monitoring their email form fill-outs, because I could not believe. I called the number that they gave me in the reply. I was on the phone with a real person within a couple of rings, gave them my payment information, finalized my order, and within 5 days, I had a brand new set of decals. So huge props to Round 2. I love it when a company actually cares about what they're doing and responds to their customers' needs. You guys were great. Round 2, big thumbs up. Would definitely buy another kit from you again. Alright, so 5 days later, as I said before, I got this lovely stiff cardboard mailer with a brand new set of decals. Now these decals, as I said before, I'm going to show you why I said don't give this to anybody under 14. Because honestly, this is pretty nuts when you look at it. So this kit comes with no less than 5 sets of decals, and going from sheet 1 to sheet 5. Sheet number 1, we have the Enterprise D and the Enterprise B. Sheet number 2 is entirely the Enterprise D. Sheet number 3 is the E. Sheet number 4 is the C. And sheet number 5. Sheet number 5 is the NX down here. The B along here. The original series along this side. And the movie retrofit up here at the top. There are decals for literally every single detail of every single ship. And in some cases I didn't use them. In some cases it made more sense to just paint it. I'll show you for instance. Here's the Enterprise A, the movie refit. Now, they included a pair of little black decals for the impulse engine back here, but honestly, it was a lot less work to just paint them. So you gotta kind of use your judgment. Another place where I substituted paint is this little ring down here where the saucer connects to the engineering hull. There was a little circle decal that went around there. But, you know, I had the right shade of paint to match the color of the decal, so I just painted it. It was a lot easier and a lot less hassle. However, when you're talking about all the Aztecing, like on here, I mean, yes, I could make a template out of styrene and you know, do some airbrushing, but honestly, the decals look a hell of a lot better. So, how are we gonna tackle this? That's coming up next. First, I repeat the mistake I made in the first place by using some masking tape to peel off whatever leftovers are here so that I can get a nice even place and use the entire decal instead of having to cut it to fit these weird little gaps that I've made. Second, I'll give it a quick sanding with some super fine grit sanding paper. Third, I'll mask it properly using a combination of liquid latex, masking tape, and some newspaper. Now, how do you mask it properly with masking tape, you ask? Well, here's the rookie mistake that I made that I should have known better about. When you're using masking tape on a model that you've already got a finish on, you take your tape and you put it on your shirt or your pants first. That way you reduce the tack a little bit, you put it on, you can still get a nice sharp edge, but when you peel it off, nothing bad happens. Ta-da! After that, I'll hit it with the base color, which in this case is pale blue from Vallejo's Model Air. Then I'll give it a gloss clear coat. Then I'll redo the decal work that I have to do. And then I'll give it a matte clear coat finally to finish it up. And I should be done. So what does that mean, kids? It means it's time for a montage. Shit. That was slick. Let's try that again. Alright, so here we go in with the tape. Just like repainting a house. Taking off all the extra stuff that might be loose. make sure I don't leave anything behind that might mess it up. Then we're on to the sanding. Just give it a little bit of tooth for the paint to stick. And brush off the dust. And then we move on to our Mold Builder's latex. Now, to keep it from sticking to the brush and ruining it, you want to dip it in a little bit of dish soap first, right up to the ferrule, which is that metal bit that holds the bristles on. Then just use the ends of the bristles and start brushing on a nice thin layer. The nice thing about liquid latex is you can use different sizes of brushes and mask all kinds of intricate little details all over your kit. I didn't have a whole lot of detail to work with on this one, so I just stuck with the large brush for the best coverage. Don't want to put on too thick, because you just don't need to. You're not building a mold, you're just masking. But you also want to make sure you get enough coverage so that you don't get too much overspray. So I got about 1.5 inches, 2 inches worth of masking on here. And make sure you take it all the way to the edges. And make sure you get a decent layer of coverage on there. That'll take about 20 minutes or so to dry. And there you have it. And look at how nicely that brush washes out. That's what a little bit of dish soap will do for you. I have a spare bottle from an old airbrush that I no longer use, and so I just keep a little bit around the bench with me, because you never know. Alright, then we get our tape and our newspaper and prep that to go on the kit. Now the latex is dried, so I lay the tape and the paper on about 1/2, 3/4 of an inch back from the leading edge of where I laid the latex down, just to cover the rest of the model. So the tape is resting on top of the latex, and the latex is making the hard edge. Once the tape is secure, then we move on to the base color. Start with thinner. Add a couple of drops of flow improver, which will keep the paint from drying on your needle. And then your color, and you want equal amounts of color and the other solvents. Jam up the end and back flush, and that'll mix your paint and your solvents. And then you're on to spraying. You want to spray light layers and build them up gradually over a few minutes. It's a good time to explain that since my workspace is inside in the main living area of my house, because it's a very small house, I use mainly acrylic non-solvent-based finishes for all of my work. On the rare occasion that I want to use a solvent-based primer mainly out of a can, I'll take it outside and spray it, but of course, since winter is fast approaching at this point, that's not going to be so much of a thing for a few months. And here we are with our final coating. Built up light layers, and I have a nice smooth finish now. And now it's time for the big moment. we strip off our newspaper, then I start rolling back my liquid latex. And it's just like taking the membrane off of a rack of ribs. If you get the edge started, then you can pretty much haul it off as a piece. And there it goes. It sticks right to the edge. And I have this beautiful sharp edge with a little bit of overlap left for the decals. Next, it's time to give it a clear coat. So again, thinner, flow improver, and then we go in with our gloss varnish. The gloss varnish is the best finish for you to put your decals over because it allows the nicest surface for them to adhere to. Once again, build up light layers until you get a nice smooth finish, and then it'll be time to pull out the decal sheets. You can start working with your gloss coat after you've given it about an hour or so to dry. And now, using the instructions I printed from the internet because I marked mine up, we move on to cutting out the decals that we need. Of course, my X-Acto knife with my number 11 blades. Always, always, always use a brand new blade when you're starting to cut your sheets. When I'm working on a kit, especially this size, I use a new blade. Every time I get through a sheet, I just change the blade out. So cutting as close to the picture as possible, except on the front of the arc there where I left a space to grab with the tweezers. Cut it out very closely. And after we make our final cut, then you can pull it out. Or not. And go back in and make your careful cuts so you don't tear your decal, and away you go. Grab it with the tweezers and into the water. And this is pretty much standard operating procedure. You soak your decal in the water for a minute, minute and a half. Then you can lift it out. Place it on the paper towel to allow the water to work while you get out your decal setting solutions. Now we start with the setter, and then we have the softer, which is the softening solution. Microsol also makes a set, but I prefer the Japanese Mr. Hobby version. So apply your setting solution to the entire space that the decal goes on. Then get your decal, adjust your model, and start to apply your decal. Work at it with a wet Q-tip. Then put it back in the water because you didn't let it sit long enough. Then bring it out and go through the process again. Now, if your decal isn't exactly where you want it to be, the best thing I've found to use is the backing paper that you took it off of to help you lift it up so that you can readjust it with your Q-tip. Once you've got it in place, then you can apply your softening solution, which is basically a solvent that softens the decal and allows it to contour to all the different ridges and mold lines in your model kit, allowing it to look as though it's almost painted on. You can apply it as often as you want until you're happy with the way your decal is laying. And then we finish up the rest of the decals that we need to do. And I followed the same procedure every time, I just haven't shown you. So it's the setting solution, apply the decal, then brush the softener over it until it looks the way you want it to. Now, in this case, there are decals that go on top of decals, which is not a problem. And again, you apply the same procedure as I showed earlier. You've just got to let those first set of decals dry completely, so an hour-ish. Then you can apply your setting solution, put on your decal, and apply your softener. And keep the cat out of the way, because they think they're helping, but they're really not. Bye, kitty. Once your final decals are done, I painted the phaser arrays by hand off camera because I didn't figure you guys needed to sit through all that. Now it's time to apply our dull coat finish, which needs a serious amount of shaking. So into the nail polish shaker it goes, while I put in my solvents to thin it down. And again, when airbrushing, you always want equal parts of solvent to whatever medium it is that you're spraying down. Now, I've never used this particular matte finish before, so I was a little nervous. You can see from the picture that it went on a little bit milky, and I thought, oh Lord, this is going to be a whole other video trying to fix this. But as it turned out, it dried okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to paint the stands that everything comes with. Each of these ships comes with their own individual stand. And I'm going to need quite a bit of finish on those. So I'm using a medicine cup. And again, 50% solvent to 50% pigment. And then I pull out my paint stirrer, which is basically a hot drink frother, except instead of a wire whisk at the bottom, it's got a variegated metal disc. It stirs up the paint quite nicely. Schwoops. So with one base painted, here's another one on the carousel. And again, light layers build up your finish over a couple of minutes. Don't be impatient. All right, 5 more to go. And with all of the 7 stands painted, it's just time to mount my individual ships. And then we'll do our best to get a glamour shot. Now, did this kit come out perfect? No. But am I happy and proud to display it? Oh, hell yeah. Believe me, when it comes to building models, done is better than perfect. If you make every project a learning experience, make your mistakes without fear, figure out a fix, and make it happen, you'll be prouder of your work with every kit you build.
So, I know this wasn't a typical unboxing and build video, but I thought it'd be fun to get into some of the unexpected things that can happen during a build. especially for some of you novices out there who maybe this is the first time you're looking at a model building video. Maybe you're just getting into the hobby. I hopefully at least one of you kids found some of my mistakes useful. My next video will be a little bit more of a straightforward unbox and build. And here's a little hint about what the subject's going to be. Hey, thank you for coming to the Hobby Corner and spending a little time with me. Please leave a comment or a question down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. And as soon as I can, I'm going to get that next video up. It's going to be a little bit of fun, I think. All right, we'll see you guys soon. Thanks again. I appreciate all you kids coming out. Take care.